Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Innovation Podcast, your source for all things innovation. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Randall Crowder online, and he's COO over at Phunware. Randall, welcome to the show.
Hey, appreciate it, Adam. Your reputation precedes you, so it's a real honor.
Oh, man, you are too kind, and I'm excited to get into today's topic. So I know you're the man I want on the show talking about this. So making the most of mobile users. So real hot topic out there. But before we get into that, I want to know a little bit more about what you're doing over at Phunware. Tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Yeah, so Phunware is an 11-year technology company. We're based in Austin, but we also have offices in Miami, Newport Beach, and San Diego. So, you can work on any side of the country or right in the middle as long as it doesn't snow too much. But we got our start really just building mobile applications. So, we built the first NASCAR app, the first NFL app. We built and maintained most of Fox's mobile application portfolio. And then over the last, 5 years, we've really expanded that to be a true kind of mobile cloud platform. So everything from location-based services, which is just like kind of location technology, to content management, to messaging, everything you do to better engage a mobile user. Chances are we've done it, and we do it at scale. And so for the last, 5 years, we've really pivoted the company to be more a software as a service company. So we work with some of the largest brands in the world on how to better engage their mobile population.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's why I definitely wanted you on the show for this because you've just worked with a unique set of clients and you have a unique vantage point. So making the most of mobile users and how to do that. Where do you want to start this topic? It's a big topic.
Yeah, it's funny. Every time we say it, and I know we talked about this before, but it's almost like it's not mobile users anymore, right? It's almost just users. Because we live in a mobile first world that's quickly becoming mobile only. We don't say mobile phone anymore. It's just your phone because who uses anything other than that, right? And so for us, approach it. There's a lot of people out there who position themselves as building a mobile application. You have, I call them two Freds in a shed, coding away, and they can give you, an application on iOS or Android. But really, is that what you're trying to do? When we think about it, it's no longer good enough just to have a mobile application. We create mobile engagement engines, and it's a lot more complex. And so I was talking to a large big box retailer, and they said, well, we have a mobile application. I was like, no. You have a digital inventory, a repository of stuff, and people can kind of click to buy. That's not engagement. I asked them, value customer, and they went on to explain, age, average cart size, all these things. I said, well, they're pretty important to you, right? He said, yeah, it's really important. When that high-value customer walks into one of your brick-and-mortar stores, how do you know? They looked at me inquisitively and said, well, how do you know? That's important. It's important for your employees to know. It's important for customer satisfaction. It's important for upsell, cross-sell opportunities. About that customer while they're on site because they have a propensity to buy, right? And it's like, well, yeah, but how we can't do that. And I'm like, do you think that a Las Vegas casino doesn't know when a billionaire walks onto their floor? They probably know the minute their private jet touches down. And that's what I think a lot of organizations don't understand. They don't understand that because we live in a mobile-first world, because we're basically bionic with our phone always attached to ourselves and it's always attached to a network, how do you leverage that to truly engage a customer? And not just generally speaking. Our mission is really to get the right content to the right customer on the right screen at the right time in the right place. Whole lot of complexity that goes into that, but we do it well. So whether it's lighting up a smart building and giving that unique software layer that brings all those, kind of experiences to life. So we work with hospitality. We work with the Wynn in Vegas. We work with the Atlantis. We've done stadiums. We did AT&T Stadium in Dallas. We've done, large brands just kind of virtually like Fox. And so anything you can think of about how do I want to better engage my customers on a mobile platform, that's where our software really shines.
Where do you think, and I know this is going to vary, by the way, from company to company, size of company, resources, a lot of different complexities, but I do know you've been in the space for a while now, and you've just seen a lot. Where do you find a lot of people, or a lot of companies, I should say, kind of get that mobile experience wrong? Like to where it's just like as soon as, because I know certain things happen over and over and over again.
Man, what a great question. And I try to be as positive as possible, so I might pivot it and say, where do they get it right?
But you can do what you got to do. I understand, Randall. I understand, but
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, Adam. I don't want everybody to think I'm a curmudgeon.
You don't have to say the person, though, or the anything, but everybody's saying right. We get it. Okay, Steve Jobs, this, that, whatever. But what are people doing wrong? That's what I need to know.
You're 100%. You're 100% right. And what's fun is that there's so many innovative leaders out there in both small and large. But you see the opposite in everywhere. So let's take, for example, healthcare. Healthcare, the idea is called a digital front door. And so we build a digital front door. It's actually an industry term. And that's this idea of a single native mobile application to rule them all. So you create this center of gravity for the entire continuum care, both the patient experience, the visitor experience, and the staff experience. And because you think about it, the healthcare journey is so complicated. There's so many different sources. There's so many different solutions. And we call it death by login. You have somebody doing your bill pay. You have somebody doing discharge protocols. You have somebody doing imaging. Somebody else doing, parking management. It's just a nightmare. And so what we do is we just actually announced something recently with Parkview Health, where we go in and we say, okay, what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to accomplish? And let's bring that all under the roof of a mobile application that is this thing I'm talking about, this engagement engine, this digital front door to everything that this health system provides. That's where, again, we really shine because it's such complexity. And we're hardware agnostic, so although we only provide the software layer, there's a lot of different ways in which this comes to light. So for your audience, especially a lot of the technical folks, it's a very hard thing to be able to do this at scale well, and I'll tell you why. You can't engage what you can't locate. And when you're talking about an on-premise solution, you're really required to locate mobile devices indoors. Now, fortunately, I think we have, probably world, I'll be PC and say top 3 just to be nice and not say that I'm totally an arrogant entrepreneur. But, we've been doing this, so our location-based service is patented. We actually got our start many years ago by winning business over one Kaiser Permanente's business around location-based services, and we beat Google to do it. And one of their, kind of use case studies was they have a grandma, elderly person in a wheelchair in a basement. They're deaf, blind, and we need to return them to a patient room. And connectivity just went down. How do you do it? Go. And so this is a very complicated challenge, and I want to be very specific because I think a lot of people in your audience will understand this. It's not just wayfinding. It's not this idea of I want to go from my room to the bathroom. It's this idea of sub-1 second real-time blue dot. So indoor positioning with very, very specific reliability. And so we do that very well. And once you can do that, both outdoors and seamlessly transition indoors with any hardware, whether it's beacons, BLE, Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter. Access point is an access point. As long as you have coverage, our software integrates with it. And if we haven't integrated with you before, we can probably integrate with you. And so once we light up that premise, it really becomes a building. And all of those kind of features and functionalities of our multi-screen as a service called MAS platform really come to light. And so you can think for a healthcare, that's that digital front door, that patient experience, very near and dear to everyone's heart today because we can actually dynamically social distance. We can dynamically route patients to specific designated corridors. So, if you're going for an elective surgery in a couple of weeks, you don't really want to go to the same parking lot that a bunch of COVID-19 symptomatic patients may be going to. And so there's a lot of things that you can traffic control users while they're on site. And then if you fast forward to a different use case, we did this on a large cruise ship. Basically, they wanted to introduce an Uber Eats-like function on a cruise ship. So you bring your own device anywhere on the ship. You open application, you punch in whatever you want, and staff will find you. You don't have to wait at the bar forever waiting for your food. You can keep enjoying your trip. Also had one with the Atlantis in the Bahamas where they wanted to turn a restaurant more, and so we do dynamic dwell time monitoring, and so we can actually encourage diners to leave so they can turn the table rather than just asking them to leave or having another reservation. We say, hey, after you've been there for 60 minutes, you buy one, get one drink to the lobby bar if you don't have kids, or we may offer you free ice cream if you do have kids. And so there's all sorts of really cases once you can definitively identify a mobile device in time and space and understand what that user needs for engagement. Does that make sense?
Man, you got me all excited. I'm like, I want to make something too. This is cool.
Well, Adam, I'll take it one step further, and I'm dating myself here, so you're going to have to forgive me. And hopefully, I know since you told me where a lot of your audience is, and I know Mountain, so some of them are probably going to roll their eyes and go, God, this guy's old. But for those people that do remember Minority Report with Tom Cruise, and there's scenes where he's walking through kind of the mall of the future, and they're scanning his eyes, and they're basically like personalizing advertisements to him as he's walking. That's effectively what we can do. Instead of, an eye scan, though, we're just using a mobile device. So very early on in Phunware's history, kind of a goal. We said, we want to create a Phunware ID for every human being on the planet with a mobile device a network. Seems like an audacious goal at the time. Well, we've created billions of Phunware IDs so far, and a lot of software that we're licensing, things that we do in a mobile ecosystem, and our platform is designed where we see over 1 billion active devices every month. And the goal is to say, okay, how do you engage those users? How do you give them contextual, location-aware information that makes their lives better? So how do we delight customers in time and space when they're most interested in making? What it boils down to for our customers is how do we drive profitable behavior? So take, for example, I'll use that big box retailer again. I'm walking through, let's say a Target, for example, and based on my purchase history and based on everything that we know about me, aisle 15, and I get a push notification from Target saying, hey, Randall, at the end of aisle 16, there's actually a product that we think is for you. For 10% off your entire cart today, will you watch this 30-second video on why this product would be so amazing? You're there. You're trying to hook that person in that moment because it's an impulse buy at that point. But now this is a data-enriched impulse buy. Companies spend millions of dollars trying to get their packaging to jump off the shelf. They spend tens of millions of dollars getting at the right eye level on the shelf. Well, that's an old way of thinking. Right now, the mobile device is how you get someone's attention, and actually video converts it like than anything else you could do in the physical world. And so now you're watching video. Same exact use case, for the cruise line. Video on people ziplining because you're trying to sell some shore excursion. That's way more likely to get me excited to buy an excursion if I'm just looking at some billboard. So all of this is about how do you get the most out of a mobile platform to get the most out of your customers to, at the end of the day, delight customers and drive profitability.
All I got to say, Randall, is I feel like you just reached in my pockets because next time I'm walking through a retailer and I see this video come up on my text and they give me 10% off for watching this video and I buy it, I'm going to be like, damn that Randall, man. Every time he's in my pocket, I don't even know why he's doing this to me, but his customers are benefiting. And that being
why you got your hand in your pocket? We are publicly traded, so we trade it on NASDAQ under the ticker symbol. And so we always love all of our shareholders, and we're really just trying to drive value.
That's awesome, man. So Randall, that being said, it's been, first off, awesome having you on the show today. If somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Phunware, what's the best way for them to reach out and learn more from you and your team?
Absolutely. So go to our website, www.phunware.com. So Phunware, we have all sorts of great information from news, press releases to videos to blogs, technical resources. So if you go to kind of the About Us page and you kind of check through all of this stuff, we're on GitHub, all sample codes, sample docs. All of our software and our features are available through software development kits. So anybody that's real technical can really dive into that. you can reach out to me personally. We're transparent. We're always accessible, especially to shareholders and potential partners. And so then it's actually Randall Crowder. Instagram is Randall Crowder, and it's 2 L, so RANDALLCROWER. And then you can actually go to my website, www.randallcrowder.com. All of those are easy ways to reach out to me. And I'd love to talk to anybody who's interested in what we can do for them in terms of their mobile digital strategy, or we just talk about everything else. I spent some time in the military, so we can talk about leadership in the Army. And there's probably nothing I don't enjoy more than talking to folks like you and the audience. I know you're.
That's awesome. So, Randall, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about the great stuff you're doing over at Funware. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Innovation, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And, Randall, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks again, Adam. Really appreciate it. Anytime.